today we have LAWE, which is the Los Angeles World Airports. And we have, like I mentioned, a ton of resources to share with you. Um, they have so graciously organized this space for you today to hear from architects and contractors, an intern that has been in this program, and again, a lot of fun things. So I won't dive into all the nitties and the gritties. So Veronica, thank you for being here. We have the Senior Advisor for Workforce Development and Economic Impact for the Los Angeles World Airports. So I will put myself on mute. Please, everyone, formulate your questions, think about what you would like to ask, but first listen to the information that's going to be shared to you today to formulate your questions just in case they don't answer them. You'll have time at the end. So, without further ado, Veronica, thank you again for being here, and the floor is yours.
Bridget, thank you very much for inviting the Los Angeles World Airports to engage with all the community college students. This is extremely important to the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, who always is telling staff, make sure that we're creating jobs for Angelenos. And so this is the type of forum that is important to that mission and that goal. And the executives at the Los Angeles World Airports, this is also underscores their commitment to hiring the best and the brightest to help us move the airport forward. And so we have a lot of great things happening over at LAX and Van Nuys airports. And one of those things that makes it important for us to execute our work is having the right qualified individuals to do the work for us. And interns are critically important to that mission and that goal. And so we're always looking for how we are going to cultivate the next generation of industry professionals to support the Los Angeles World Airports, as well as other work that is occurring here in Southern California. And so, let's see. There we go. And that was Bridget. And this is me. But let me go ahead and kind of show you an aerial of what LAX looks like. And this is what it looks like right now, but this is not what it's going to look like by 2028 or even 2032, when we anticipate that the majority of our work will be completed by 2032, but the most critically important projects that are underway will be completed by 2028. I'm sure you've heard a lot about our automated people mover, which is the train, and that one is in testing, so that should be operational definitely in time for the Olympics and hopefully a lot sooner than that. But we are really just making improvements on our roadways, on our terminals, and also all of the taxiways and runways. No one ever thinks about where their airplanes land, but that's a lot of work that also has to take place. And what I'm showing here right now is our ATMP project, which is our airfield terminal modernization program. And you're going to see a lot of construction take place. This work has already started. Some of the early work has begun. So for those of you that have come into LAX, you might have seen probably some K-rails along the way, and maybe some increased traffic because of the work that's taking place. The work that is taking place at the airport does not just take place during the day. It takes place 24/7, meaning every day throughout the day, whether it's something that you can see or not see, but there is work taking place throughout the airport, and not just in the CTA, which is the central terminal area, but also outside of the airport. And so what you see here is all the roadway improvements that will be done. And it's going to change the way in which we enter the central terminal area. It's going to decrease our carbon footprint and minimize the congestion that right now, kind of strangles every single Angelino trying to get to the airport or leave the airport. And so this is critically important for us to get this project completed. Some of the other things that we're doing is making a lot of investments in our terminals. If all of you or some of you have traveled outside the country, you have probably left through the Tom Bradley International Terminal. And Most likely, when you go into this terminal, you probably say, "Oh my God, this is ugly." Well, guess what? We are refreshing the terminal, and it is going to be amazing when complete. It is currently in design, but this is a rendering of what we think it may look like when completed. But the contractor and the architect are already on board to do this work. But this is the type of work that is taking place right now and preparing us to greet people from around the world for the 2028 Olympics. One of the things that I said was that interns are very important to the airport. It is so important that we have incorporated the creation of internship programs among all of the industry partners who are performing work for the airport. That means that all the architectural firms, engineering companies, construction managers, program managers, environmental services providers, and obviously our contractors are required to establish an internship program and bring those young interns onto our projects to learn about what it is to do aviation work, but most importantly, to allow students to be able to reinforce what they're learning in school and put it into practice through their internship and building up their resumes to be able to then seek employment upon graduation. And so, very important for every single project. I kind of put down kind of the little grid that I go by. As we're awarding projects based on their value, we determine how many interns they should have. Um, and so as you can see, if there's a project that's $100 million or more, we're expecting them to hire 6 interns. And this can be an intern hired by the designer, which is the architect, or the engineering company, or it could be the contractor or a combination of the entire team. And so this is our way, the Los Angeles World Airport's way of being able to cultivate a workforce in partnership with our industry partners. And so today, we are going to have an opportunity to hear from some of those partners who are doing this work right now. And my slide does not want to move. Oh, there. Uh-oh. So I want to introduce Joshua Foster. He is an architect, and his company is JAF. He is the CEO. But let me just tell you about Joshua. Joshua is extraordinary. Not only is he an industry professional, but he has the biggest heart. And maybe I shouldn't be getting personal, but he has the biggest heart. Um, Not only did he graduate, from prestigious universities, he graduated from Columbia, he graduated from USC, but he gives so much to the community. Not only is he a volunteer football coach for a high school, for a local high school, but he's always open to helping any young person who needs to be mentored or who has, is maybe confused or doesn't know where to go or how to capitalize on their talents. And Joshua always makes himself available to do that. And so he is working on one of our largest projects, which is the Terminal 5 renovation and reconstruction project. And I can tell you that this is going to impress everyone that comes to LAX and they're flying out of Terminal 5. This is going to be a microcosm of Los Angeles, but most importantly, it's going to demonstrate not just the pride of LA, but also the extraordinary talent that went in to design it and to build it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Josh to continue the presentation on this project and then the approach that they are taking to bringing on interns to the project. Joshua?
Great. Thank you very much, Veronica. Very much appreciate that introduction. And yeah, we're really excited to be a part of this project here and really help lead the impact initiatives. And so I'll talk quickly about the work that our company does and then lean right into the great work that Terminal 5 is producing specifically on this side of impact. So like Veronica mentioned, my name is Josh Foster. My background is in architecture and construction, started my career on that side of things, and then shifted over, started an impact consulting company that really focuses on the built environment, that focuses on being able to provide opportunities for students, for the workforce, for small businesses, and a lot of other certified businesses to be a part of these types of projects. So as we move forward in the work that we're doing, one of the biggest things we want to share is like, what is the impact of this project? And so we have some slides coming up here that shows some of these numbers, and want to make sure that you all kind of get a sense of the type of work that you can be a part of and ways to get situated with it as well. So we can move on to, yeah, this is just one right here. This is what's really important. A lot of the people when they're looking at the industry, and they think about architecture, engineering, construction. A lot of times they don't realize how big these projects actually is. And so looking at this, the Terminal 5 project specifically is around $1.2 billion with a B, in the way that is going to actually be designed and developed, is going through what's called a design build process, which means the contractor and the architects work hand in hand with each other, to move forward that process at the same time, which is a big difference than a lot of other processes where you go through a little bit more disjointed pathways to get things going. So this really takes a lot of teamwork. It's over 500,000 square feet. And one of the biggest things that we're excited about for this large project team, is that we've committed for the entire project team to bring on 36 paid interns throughout the duration of the project. And that's the baseline goal. We're always shooting for more. And this is something that we're really excited about. Beyond the internship side, there's a lot of other ways we're trying to lean into impact. So local hire, and leading into the K through 12 engagement, doing different career days and things like that at local middle schools and high schools, making sure that we're hitting and exceeding the business inclusion program, so that different businesses can have opportunities to be a part of this project, because that $1.2 billion doesn't go all to one company. It is throughout the different companies that are a part of this project, and so there's different places and spaces that you can kind of get involved in. And so I'm going to talk a little bit, and show how there's different ways that we've been a part of this here. This is just a few pictures of many, but we've been able to help lead different days, with the main architect for the company, which is called Corgan. It's a great firm for you all to look up and see the great work that they do, and then also with the general contractor, Hensel Phelps. And so the biggest thing that I want to leave y'all with here is, how do you get involved and how do you potentially get engaged to be a part of this here? So one you'll see on the screen, which is a QR code. If you all are able to take a picture of that and click on it, get that QR code. There's a form specifically, for community college students here in Southern California. I know it just says LACCD, but we're also leading into El Camino College and a couple of the other community colleges as well. So the big thing about that is, if you all go through this internship interest application process, you're now going to be, that we can do our best to match you with different companies that are looking for interns. And so it just helps streamline that process, because as these companies, and there's over dozens and dozens of companies that are part of this project. It isn't just two big firms that gets to work on these things. There's so many different types of companies you can think about: electrical engineering, mechanical, plumbing, baggage handling consultants, lighting designers, architects, of course, general contractors. And so there's so many different ways. And we help facilitate being able to match interns with these companies that they're looking for them throughout this project. So the biggest takeaway is for you to get this QR code and sign up. The second two takeaways, that I want to lean into is mastering the core software. And so one of the biggest gaps, that I usually see with students as they're applying, for these jobs, especially in this building industry, is not being able to understand the software. And these projects, they go fast, they move really fast, and so the training on the software is going to happen. You're going to learn, but being able to come with at the baseline level is extremely important. And I didn't mention also, but I'm also a very proud community college professor. I teach architecture classes at El Camino Reno and at Long Beach City College. I used to teach at East Los Angeles College, and I know these programs have excellent pathways and classes and not just the ones that I've taught at. And so if you're able to take any of the software classes, they're really important. If you have a chance for Revit, that's the main one that's used in the industry, especially on this project here. And if your specific college doesn't provide it, there's a lot of opportunities for you to self learn, whether it's YouTube University, whether you're looking at a lot of different places, but many of the colleges do offer it. And then here's a list of some of the other softwares which can also boost your portfolio and resume. And then lastly, a cover letter that reflects you is extremely important. The cover letter is how we're able to and how the hiring partners are able to understand who you are, your background, not just repeating your resume saying, I did this, this, and this, and took this, and this class. Really share where you come from, share what drives you, connect with your lived experiences and why you really care about the built environment. Because firms are going to remember that all authenticity more than generic statements. If every single one of you has taken a rabbit class, they're going to have to choose someone and hopefully choose a lot of you all. So what's going to allow you to stand apart is really sharing who you are. And that's really what often separates candidates in similar technical skills. So I just want to leave these quick notes with you. But again, make sure you sign up on this internship application form. And I know there's some questions popping up in the chat. Once I wrap up here, I'll get going in the chat and see if I can help answer any of these things.
Thank you, Joshua. And just so everyone knows, the panelists can go ahead and answer some of the questions in the chat while the other presenters are giving their presentations, but we will open it up for Q&A at the end. And so hopefully anyone that has a question will be able to address it. So the next speaker is Nicholas Ordonez, and he is an assistant project manager. Oh, the name is wrong there. He's the assistant project manager for Webcor, which is one of our major general contractors performing work at the airport. And he is going to go ahead and give a presentation, not just on the work that they're doing, but also what does a general contractor do? Because again, every player has a different role on a project. And so the general contractor is obviously critical in building out that vision that the architect had. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Nick to go ahead and give his presentation.
Thank you, Veronica. Just to reiterate, thank you, everyone. Excited to talk to you all. My name's Nick Ordonez, Assistant Project Manager with Webcor. Right now, working at the LAX project. And I feel like I would say it was not too long ago, but I was in your shoes as a college student, unsure what my career was going to be, looking for the next steps. And just as you guys are doing, I actually started with Webcor doing a couple internships throughout my last couple years of college. So the fact that you're all signing up for the seminar, being proactive, just shows that you have the initiative and drive to kind of take that next jump and that next step into the career. But as Veronica mentioned, just some of the things that I'll be going over today. What is a general contractor? Who can be a general contractor? What do we do? And then a little bit about Webcor's internship program. So just really high level, I wanted to talk a little bit about Webcor and some of the things that we work on. So we actually have offices all throughout California, and then a little bit or one project and office in Reno at an airport over there. We have about 583 salaried staff employees right now. And then also, when you think about construction, there's the people in the field as well, making the things happen and putting things together. And we have about 648 union staff employees. We have constructed about 100 million plus square feet of projects throughout our resume. And then some of the clients, obviously LAWA, but Meta, Google, Samsung, a lot of big projects throughout San Francisco and the SoCal area. And then today I'll talk more specifically about the aviation sector and the projects that we're working on with LAWA in the next slide. But just some of the other sectors we work through, hospitality, schools and hospitals. So here, looking at our current projects, we currently have three projects ongoing with LAWA, all a part of the kind of the larger program to get the airport ready for the Olympics. The first one is the LAX Wayfinding Enhancement Program. That's the one I'm currently on. So when you think of wayfinding, you're probably asking the same questions I was. What is wayfinding? So wayfinding has to do with all the signage at the airport. And uh, we might take that for granted as a passenger when we're walking through and we're trying to find our terminals. But you can imagine how many signs there are throughout the airport and all the terminals. And you think about all the work that goes on to what messages need to go on the signs and what do they look like so that we can kind of seamlessly navigate through the airport. So part of this project, we're working on creating a new feel, new color scheme, just to make a more seamless transition and travel for the passengers going to the airport. And then we also have the LAX fire station, where we will be demolishing an existing and then creating a new fire station for the fire department. And this is located on the airfield yeah, at LAX. And we're just working to help the fire department create a new kind of state-of-the-art fire department for them, or fire department facility. And then on the last one here, LAX departures curbside improvements, just cleaning up some of the curbside on the second level. Think about where you're getting dropped off before you hop on your flight, just creating a nice cohesive look throughout the whole horseshoe when passengers are getting dropped off. Okay. So what is a general contractor? I know a lot of people think that when you think of construction, you think of the people swinging the hammer, operating the crane, but that's not all we do. A general contractor here is a company that organizes and manages the construction of a building by supplying all workers and materials for the project and hiring other companies. So, like for example, our project, like Joshua had mentioned, is a design build project. So, as the general contractor, we're bringing on an architect, different design consultants, MEP or mechanical, electrical, plumbing subcontractors, and kind of organizing everything and scheduling the work so that we can successfully execute a project and deliver it to the client. So the team, like I have listed here, just some of the the people we work with: accountants, estimators, people that put budgets together, schedulers. We have marketing teams, safety specific professionals. There's a whole group of people that work behind the scenes that you may not really necessarily think of when you think of construction. And then who can be a general contractor? So really anybody can be a general contractor. The I know a lot of people think, oh, I have to study construction. I have to have like a history of building things. But I think construction in general is just a group of people that love solving puzzles and problem solving. And as a general contractor, our goal is to just bring together all these people and work towards a common goal when our goal is to deliver a finished product, a successful building or project to the client. So I'll tell you, WebCore, we have a vast variety of people that work with us. We have not only construction management majors, we have business majors, art majors. I myself, I didn't study construction. I studied mechanical engineering, but we all ended up in the construction industry because, like I said, we have that knack for problem solving and like being challenged and figuring out new ways to, like I said, successfully deliver a project. So what does a general contractor do? Like I said, it's not just swinging a hammer. There's a lot of behind the scenes work. I think yeah. So there's different services pre-construction. Like I said, this can include the design portion or the initial planning portion, putting together budgets and schedules. Obviously, the construction portion, having the whole building and the team come together. Um, in terms of self-perform, for Webcore specifically, we have our own self-perform group. So not only do we manage subcontractors, but we do have entities that are subcontractors themselves. So we self-perform concrete, drywall, carpentry, um, and we can work under in other projects as well under different general contractors. And then, like I said, within our company, it's not just the necessary operational things that I've been mentioning. There's sustainability, marketing, HR. There's all these different sectors of the company um, that come play a role in a project that isn't necessarily the technical building of construction. And then the next is a little bit about our internship program. So we take a lot of pride in our internship. And Veronica kind of alluded to this earlier, but the main goal of bringing on interns is to kind of enhance a student's skills and get them ready for the next step of becoming a full-time employer or employee one day. So we use our program to act as a pipeline of employees so that they can, like I said, either join us full time and hone in their skills, or if they want to go a different way or realize, okay, maybe I want to be a designer, I want to be with the subcontractor, that they get that experience as well. And internships are a great opportunity to network, not only with fellow interns, but the full-time employees, executive, and those will be the connections that you kind of stay with for the rest of your career. One thing I've realized is construction is a very small world. Even if it's not someone you're working with in your company, you'll know someone maybe you went to school with or that you worked with previously, and they're all over, and you'll definitely cross paths with people that you've worked with before. And then for us, the hiring process, typically we do a lot of our recruitment for summer internships starting in the fall of the school year up until around March time. And then those interns will come in, they'll start around this time, May, and then it'll be around 10-week internship throughout the summer. And then interviews will consist of speaking with project managers, project engineers, and then walking a local job site if you happen to be in the area. And like I said, you don't have to have that construction knowledge or technical background to get an internship. We're not expecting you to know how to put together a building or manage a subcontractor right out of the gate. And that's what we're there for, to kind of help teach you and guide you so that eventually you can have those skills. Um, you can go to the next slide here. So some of the responsibilities, um, we like to have an intern basically act as if they were a full-time entry-level project engineer. They'll have a lot of the same tasks. So just in innovation, continuous improvement, having new, fresh eyes on a project allows you to kind of bring up new ideas that we can use. Like I mentioned, subcontractor management, review of shop drawings, submittals, quality control and inspections. And this will vary from project to project, right? If you get assigned to the wayfinding program, it may be at a different stage of the project than, let's say, the firehouse. So um, the fun part is that everything is changing and every project kind of has its own different problems that you have to solve. And then traits of a successful intern, just like I mentioned, the interest in problem solving, interested in being hands-on. And the one thing I like to say a lot is when I was an intern, I want to be a sponge. It's you're surrounded by so many experienced individuals, and you just want to take in knowledge from the whole project team. Some other trait, detail oriented, communicative. Communication plays a big part. You're not only working with your team, but you're coordinating with the client, with the designer, with the subcontractors. And then most importantly, curious. If you have a desire and willingness to learn, I think that will take you, or that will make you successful in any career, any internship that you have. But that is all I have. I know there's probably some questions coming in through the chat here. But if you have any questions or want any more information on our internship and career opportunities, we have myself, David Friend. We kind of run the intern group for our Southern California branch, and then Charlotte Sullivan, who is our outreach and partnership managers. If you reach out to any of us, I can put this information in the chat as well, just so everyone can have it.
Nick, thank you very much. Great
Yeah.
presentation on construction. Frida,
Thank you.
Frida, you're welcome. Frida Castillo is our intern, and she is also the Girls Build LA student coordinator. She works both for the Higher LAX Apprenticeship Readiness Training Program and also the Economic Impact Team in implementing the Girls Build LAX Career Exploration Program. And so it's my pleasure to introduce to you Frida, because not only is she a superstar intern, she is fully committed to doing the work of helping young people pursue their goals, but most importantly, make their dreams come true. So with that, Frida?
Hi guys, my name is Frida Alexa Castillo Velasquez, and I'm a third year transfer student right now at Cal State Long Beach, but I am an alumni from LACC. Um, so if I were to describe my role as an intern at Lawwell right now, I would say for the past year, I've kind of worn two hats. Um, I started out as a labor relations intern where I support the compliance oversight of Lawwell's project labor agreement and also with the Higher LAX program, which is a program that focuses on getting the local community around LAX and Van Nuys, getting them sponsored by contractors into the trade unions and onto our construction projects. Also, the second hat I kind of wear as an intern here at Lawwell would be, like Veronica said, the Girls Build LA student coordinator. And so this program is actually designed to introduce high school girls to aviation related careers like architecture, engineering, and construction. So I do I coordinate with student outreach, do support the curriculum and support programs as well.
So Frida, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions because in reality, I'm sure there's a lot of students who are listening right now and are wondering not just, the process of getting an internship, but what does it really feel, to be an intern, and um, what have you learned as an intern
So
you're going to take with you to your professional career?
so as a Lawa intern, it feels a bit I would say nerve-wracking in a way because as a student, right, you're coming into an internship where you may not have the direct knowledge to about how things operate in an organization, right? So it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's it's a great opportunity to kind of get out of your comfort zone, especially here at LAWA because a lot of departments are very interconnected, right? So you get to know a little bit about this department, a little bit about that, and how they kind of just come together. Um, I would say what I've learned here, it's a lot. Law is a massive, public agency, and it kind of manages a lot of like billions of dollars in construction, community programs, and labor agreements, right? And it's all at once. So what I feel like I took from this internship is learning how to understand contracts, understand the workforce development data, and I was able to kind of learn and have the ability to communicate across departments. And that's something you can carry into any career, no matter where you go as an intern.
What advice would you give the students who are watching this panel right now how to be a successful intern? Because you are a successful intern. And so what advice would you give them?
I would say there's two things I think that are the top, and it would be open to new experiences, right? Um, as a college student, especially at community college, right, you're able to explore what you like and what you don't like. And so apply to internships that not only you're studying for, but also if that internship interests you, go ahead and do it. Don't feel like you're underqualified because I feel as if employers know you might not have the direct knowledge, right? But they're willing to train you. And for example, for my first internship at LACC, I found literally an internship flyer underneath a pile of other flyers. And so I emailed the internship coordinator within those 20 minutes. And even if it wasn't exactly what I was studying to do, it still interested me and I wanted to do it. And that's how I was able to like secure that first internship. I had the curiosity and also like the follow through to do it. And I think the second thing would be a team player, right? Employers again know that you might not have the direct knowledge, but they want to know if you're able to take the initiative, be a critical thinker, and also whether if you're reliable or not, and if they can count on you. Like those small moments do add up. I would say those be those two things.
Thank you, Frida. So if anyone has any questions for Frida, make sure to put it in the chat. But at the end of all the presentations, you will also be able to ask internship experience type of questions. So the next presenter is Esther Landon. And so she is the Senior Workforce Development Manager for the First Source Hiring Program for the Los Angeles World Airports. And in this role, she is really the gateway. She'll teach you the gateway to opportunities throughout the airport. Some of them that you may never even think about, and others that are logical positions at the airport. So Esther is a pleasure to work with, and she has an extraordinary passion for helping young people. And so I'm very happy that she's here with us today to share with you the opportunities that exist.
Great. Thank you, Veronica, and to the entire economic impact team, as well as to LARC for your partnership on trying to bring these opportunities to our community college students. Like many of us, I was also a product of the California community colleges. I graduated from Los Angeles Southwest College and then transferred over to Cal State Dominguez Hills, where I earned my bachelor's degree there. And so I have been fortunate enough to have had that community college experience. And so I know how valuable this is for you to be going through, and how lucky you guys are to be going through the community college system to get your education and take these next steps into your professional career. So like Veronica said, my name is Esther Landon. I am the Senior Workforce Development Manager with the Business Jobs and Social Responsibility Division at Los Angeles World Airports, and I oversee the First Source Hiring Program. But before I tell you a little bit about the First Source Hiring Program, I'll tell you a little bit about sort of how many people are at the airport that actually work there, and sort of what the breakdown is, and how the First Source Hiring Program can help connect community college students, not just to internships, but to all of these different types of job opportunities. So you may or may not know that there are actually 50,000 employees at LAX. So we are literally a small city. Now, when you take a look at the different types of employees that are there, we have approximately 3,500 employees who work directly for the airport. So those are folks like myself, for example, who are civil service employees that work directly for the city of Los Angeles. So the LAX and LAWA is a department of the city of Los Angeles. So we are City of Los Angeles employees. We also have about 4,400 federal employees, which includes like your TSA agents, your Custom and Border Protection agents, as well as air traffic controllers. And then we have which is the remaining balance of our workforce, approximately 42,000 airport and airport service worker jobs. And that also includes in construction as well, all of the non-craft labor positions as well. And we call those our private sector jobs. And those are like with the construction companies and some of the general contractors that spoke today, as well as our airlines, our concessions, and our retail, and our hotels and hospitality and things like that. On the next slide, I'll tell you a little bit about the First Source Hiring Program. So the First Source Hiring Program began back around 2004 as part of a community benefits agreement that was developed because way back then, LAX already had this vision of all of the modernization and beautification of the airport that you see happening today. And so we knew that there were going to be a lot of job opportunities that were going to be developed as a result of all this modernization. So LAX and the local community neighborhood associations and other types of organizations that represented residents at that time came to an agreement that said, well, if all of these jobs are going to be created, that's great, but please offer those jobs to the local residents of the area around LAX. And LAX agreed to do that. And that gave birth to the First Source Hiring Program. So the First Source Hiring Program is essentially a commitment to local hiring, and we ensure that all of our contractors, and there are hundreds and hundreds of contractors that are at LAX, that they utilize the First Source Hiring Program to provide those opportunities to local residents first before they recruit from outside sources. And we have a website where all of those employers post their jobs. Now, on the next slide, you'll see what types of jobs are available. So there are full-time positions, there are part-time positions, there's also seasonal and temporary positions, there's even some contracting and consultant positions, sometimes known as 1099 or professional services positions. You can also find internships, like some of the internships that were talked about today with some of our general contractors, as well as apprenticeship programs and pre-apprenticeship programs like our Hire LAX pre-apprenticeship program. On the next slide are just some more examples of the types of jobs that are available, the airport service worker positions that are available at LAX that you will find on the First Source Hiring Program employment portal on the next slide at www.jobs@lax.org. And we have employers that hire across the board. So there, like I said, there are internship positions, but there are also direct hire positions that start from entry level, and they go all the way up to professional positions that require advanced college degrees and everything in between. So there is literally opportunity for everybody at LAX to work there. And so you can create a job seeker profile on the site, and you can apply for any and all positions that are available at LAX. Now, one question that I often get is, well, how much do I make for a job at LAX? Now, this is just some sort of national sort of average type of salaries for those airport service workers. Now, you can see, even though these are averages, that these positions pay higher than minimum wage. Locally here at LAX, on the next slide, the city of LA has something called the Living Wage Ordinance. And the Living Wage Ordinance is currently at $22.50 per hour for positions that offer benefits, and $30.15 per hour for jobs without benefits. So say maybe a part-time job that doesn't offer benefits. Now, every July 1st, that living wage ordinance goes up. So you can see it's the $22.50 is going to go up to $25 on July 1st, and the $30.15 is going to go up to $33.15 per hour. And it's going to go up to that $22.50 will eventually go up to $30 an hour by July 1st, 2028. Sometimes they refer to it on the news and on social media as the Olympic wage. So the goal is to raise wages up to $30 an hour for full-time jobs with benefits to $30 by July 1st, 2028, which is when the Olympics are going to be here. You also get 96 hours of paid time off. That includes sick time as well as vacation time. And then there's 80 hours of uncompensated time for family or personal illness. This mostly affects hotel workers and concessions workers. So for example, if you look at the First Source Hiring Program employment portal right now, you'll see there are barista positions like at Starbucks and Coffee Bean. Those hourly wages pay more than if you were to be a barista in your local community. So you can earn more money for the same type of jobs at the airport than you would if you were just working in your local neighborhood. Now, when you go on to the First Source Hiring Program employment portal, you do need to create a what we call a job seeker profile. So you'll need to have a username and password in order to log in and apply for the jobs. And so in order to create your job seeker password, you have to have things like an updated resume. You enter in your name, your email address, your phone number, and your zip code. It's very basic. It's very easy. You can put a profile picture there if you want. If you have like a professional profile picture that you would like to add in there, you may, but the picture is optional. So those are the basic things that you need in order to create your job seeker profile. Once you have your job seeker profile created, then you can apply for any internships or any other airport worker, service worker positions that are posted on the First Source Hiring Program site. Next slide, please. Now, one thing that I also like to let folks know about working at the airport, it's whether you're an intern or whether you're a federal employee or a LAWA employee or an employee of one of those 42,000 private employees of those private airport employers, is transportation. Transportation is a big something that you have to have reliable transportation to get to and from the airport for your internship. Now, LAX offers some benefits to anybody who works at the airport through our Commute LAX program. You can get reduced cost transit passes. So if you're taking the bus, if you're taking the Metro Rail, you can get discount transit passes. There are carpool and vanpool options that are also available. So if you're coming to work and there's other folks that also work a similar schedule to you that live in the same area that you do, they can arrange carpools and vanpools for you to get to and from work on time. You may also be expected to park in an outside lot, depending on where your work site is at the airport. You may have to park in an outside lot and maybe take a shuttle into the terminals. You may have to pay for your own parking, but some of our airport employers do offer monthly parking reimbursement. So you present your parking pass that you've paid for your parking, and they will reimburse you. And the other thing that I like to make sure that everybody is aware of, that there is a 10-year background check that is conducted for all jobs at LAX. What they look for is a list of disqualifying offenses that's been predetermined by the Department of Homeland Security. And you may also be subject to a drug screening depending on the position. And that's pretty much it. Finding a job is, it's pretty easy to find a job at the airport because we've got them all posted there on www.jobs@lax.org. We also have different job fairs and events and things that we do out into the community. So this is just some pictures and stuff that we do. We've also done some tours and things like that. So if you're interested in a tour, you can always reach out to me. And we do work very closely with your community colleges and even your career centers as well. So as you're looking to develop your applications and write those cover letters that was mentioned earlier in order to be able to kind of demonstrate your interest and your capabilities for these internship programs, definitely work with your career centers at your colleges because we talk with them all the time and they know exactly what it is that we're looking for. And so definitely work with them. And of course, if you ever have any questions, you can always reach out to us as well. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Esther. So now we would like to open it up for questions. And so I'm going to probably ask Miguel or Bridget to go ahead and manage the little hands that go up and maybe take those questions, whether we handle it through the chat or whether we allow students to voice their questions. So I leave that up to you, Bridget, since this is your platform.
Thank you, Veronica. I do see questions are being asked. Let's see. Let's stick with them in the chat and we will try and address everyone's question as best as possible. But let's see where we can start off because a lot of them have already been answered throughout the presentations. Um, let's see. Okay, this one is addressed to Esther. It says, does your team make announcements about job fairs?
Yes, yes, we do. So, like I said, we communicate regularly with all of the community college career centers. So whenever we have job fairs, we send those out to our career centers as well as to the rest of our network partners all across LA and LA County. We also post them on our homepage of the employment portal at jobs@lax.org. So there's a news and events section that's on the homepage where you'll find any and all job fairs that we have.
Awesome. I do see a few questions about timelines and acceptance of applications when it closes. Um, I see here it says, do you have um, any applications open now? And if they are they for this summer? So maybe any of the presenters would like to kind of give a little bit of insight of the deadlines and when applications are open. I saw Joshua earlier above in the chat. You had addressed that question to you, and you
Yeah.
just mentioned that it's you
Yeah,
would like for
I can
to
share.
re
Yeah, I can
okay.
share quickly on that. So yeah, so there may be a few opportunities for the summer as we're getting close to the summer. A lot of the summer internship programs specifically may be closing, but if you get your applications in for the link that I sent before the end of this month, we'll see if there's any firms that are still looking for interns. But the application itself is a rolling process. And so please do apply, even if it's not before the end of the month, because we're on this project for the duration through up to 2028. And so there are going to be different opportunities in the summer, the fall, the spring, and beyond on that, we put on different events that allows you to be able to get FaceTime with some of these companies. And so at the very least, as long as we have your email address in there, you'll at least get some more information throughout time. So please do apply.
Awesome. I'm
And,
trying to
and,
address
and
everyone's
Bridget,
question. Oh,
I'm going to
go
add a
ahead.
little bit to that too as well, because we, in some cases, act as the depository of resumes sometimes, because we collect them when we go to all the career fairs. So if there are any students that, um, are interested in doing an internship, at the airport, working with our industry partners, please feel free to send us a cover letter with your resume, and you're going to send it to Miguel Guzman. The next page after this has everyone's contact information, so you'll be able to email it to Miguel or to me, and then we will keep it on file because we do get questions from contractors and other industry partners when they're seeking an intern. And we get those requests, throughout the year in some cases, depending on when their projects start and what their needs are. Because right now there's a tremendous demand for individuals with certain skills. And so we want to make sure that if you're one of those individuals, that you get to have adequate consideration by one of our industry partners. So feel free to send your cover letter and your resume to Miguel Guzman or to myself.
Thank you, Veronica. Um, okay, I am they're coming in pretty fast. So I see Esther, you're replying fast. Um, Let's see, which question has not been addressed yet? I see here any possible TSA opportunities. Yeah, Esther, you're quick.
I can answer that.
Um,
So TSA has their own hiring process, and you'd have to apply to usajobs.gov. Since I mentioned earlier that they are federal positions, and they have their own hiring process and their own website. But I can put the website in the chat. So it's usajobs.gov, where you can apply for any of the federal positions. So like TSA, Border and Customs Patrol, as well as any air traffic controller positions. Those can be found at usajobs.gov.
awesome. Yes, please make sure you reference all of the websites that have been in the chat. I also see Helene, you asked, Miguel's contact information will be shared towards the end, so just look out for that. Um, Another question addressed to you, Joshua, are how long are the projects typically for?
Yes. Yeah, just finished typing that answer to that one. But yeah, that varies and is based on the company that the applicants match with. But internships in general are usually for about a few months, sometimes 2 months, depending on the intern themselves and what their schedule is. The company may decide to stretch it out longer. But yeah, it's really dependent on who you get matched with and what their scope on the actual project is for how long that goes.
Awesome. I do see a couple questions about environmentalists, environmental science. Is there any space or opportunity for students who may be interested in environmental consulting, um,
Yeah,
or
from my
compliance?
perspective, and anything that is related in the field, I would say the built environment. That's the broadest way of putting it. So anything from the environmental to the engineering, the architecture, the construction in that realm. And if you aren't sure, still apply to this pool here. We go through it and we really try our best to find companies that can match with those skills. And so it doesn't hurt to toss your name in there just in case.
Awesome. And speaking of apply, I think this is a really good question, and feel free to jump in for anyone. I think I just lost it, but it's something. Oh, here it is. Any suggestions on how to get your resume to stand out for applicants who have applied a few times or one time and would like to kind of get some direction on what stands out when applications are submitted?
If that question was directed towards me, I can share a quick few thoughts. I think
It, it,
really okay.
sorry, it was open to anyone, but Joshua, feel
Okay,
free to.
got it. Though what I see, and as much as this is a different response than the question about the resume, I really do believe in the cover letter a lot. I saw someone else post in here that their background leans more heavily to healthcare, but you might be interested in something else. It's hard to put a resume together for a architecture company if all you did was healthcare. So the way we learn that you're interested in architecture or something else would be through that cover letter. Of course, if you do have things related to the field that you're trying to get into, share those experiences, share maybe the software skills and things like that on the resume. But personally, I think the cover letter is extremely important for those instances.
I
Thank
could
you.
jump in also. Yeah, so like Joshua said, if you want your resume to stand out, I do recommend personalizing the cover letter to whatever organization you're applying to, right? I think definitely research them, see what their mission is about, right? And try to connect what their mission is to yourself. So I would definitely recommend, yeah, cover letter for sure is a way to have your resume stand out and yourself as a person to stand out.
Thank you, Frida. I think you being here so special because you're able to give firsthand experience from an intern already. So that's not every day that you can hear the experience of someone who's actually doing the work in real time. So thank you again for being here.
Hey, Bridget, there
Um,
is a quick question that I want to address that's on the chat. Someone was
yes,
asking
please.
about opportunities or internships for high school students. I guess we also have some high school students that are on. The LAX does have a volunteer program called the LA Exceeders. Um, I'll put the information in the chat for that as well. But it's a volunteer program designed for high school students and also for college students as well, which means it's not a paid internship. It's all volunteer hours. They require, I believe it's a minimum of 9 hours a month for you to commit to volunteer. And they have various shifts. So they have like early morning shifts, mid-afternoon shifts, and even like after school shifts that you can do. And it's through our guest services division. And so they're the ones who are very customer facing, providing people with information, helping with wayfinding, where do I pick up my bags? Where's gate such and such? You're helping people kind of, you know, um, navigate through the airport. And there's certain strategic like information booths located throughout the terminals where usually the LA Exceeder volunteers are located, and make themselves available for helping uh, passengers, like I said, find their way. So I'll put the information in the chat about the LA Exceeders program. So if anybody's interested in that, that's another way that you can get your foot in at the airport, because you do have to be 18 years old in order to work at the airport, to be employed at the airport. But we do offer those volunteer opportunities for high school students and college students who maybe volunteering is a better fit for you.
I,
Yeah, and oh, sorry.
no, go. I was going to, so go ahead, Nick. I was going to call on you because I know that Webcore has been
Yeah,
hiring high school students.
yeah, I was answering that message in the chat as well. Um, but yeah, just to kind of reiterate that we do have not only interns, I think they're known as high school externs, um, throughout all of our or throughout many of our projects. I know definitely here at LAX, and then throughout the school year too, we also have. I don't know the program that it's specifically through, but once a week we'll have a high school student come to our project, and then he'll be working with us as well. So I'll verify exactly what program it's through. I don't remember if it was ACE or a different program, but I can get that information and share that as well.
Also, if I could also cut in really quick, for high school students, for females, again, we have the Girls Build LA, Lawless Girls Build LA program. And again, our goal is to introduce you guys to architecture, construction trades, right? Like plumbing, electricians, and stuff like that, which would be the trades, and engineering. So if you are in high school, and if you're a female high school student, again, we are hosting the program this summer for 3 weeks, August 20th. Sorry, yeah, July 20th to August 6th.
And let me just add, thank you, Frida. Thank you for sharing that with the high school students who are watching today. That program, the Girls Build LA program, also has a stipend. And so that means that if you enroll in the program, you work Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And you get a $250 a week stipend. So after the program, you will go ahead and earn $750 for that work because we consider it like going to work. You're learning, but you're working. And then you will also get your certification, your first aid CPR certification. So that also comes in handy on a personal level as well as when you're out working, because a lot of things can happen. And if you are prepared and ready, you can actually save someone's life. And so we put a lot of effort into this program to make it not just meaningful from the standpoint of an introduction to aviation careers, but also giving you the resources and tools to improve your own communities and your families. So thank you, Frida.
I just wanted to say I do have to jump off, but please do feel free to reach out to me. I will make sure I answer your questions. Just give me some time in case I get a lot of them. But thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Joshua.
Joshua. I
Any more
don't
questions?
see a question about any in-person internships events soon. Are you going to have any internship events coming up
We
soon?
Great question. We usually share the information at career fairs, and we're invited by community colleges and also high schools to participate in their career fairs, as well as some community-based organization sponsored career fairs where we share that information. And all of our industry partners also attend these type of career fairs, where they're also sharing information regarding any internships that they may have available. Um, I don't know that we have anything coming up soon. I know that we're doing a youth construction event with Metro, and I believe that is next week. And we're also, let me see, which other one are we doing where I think we're out to the general community? Because some of them are school focused, so those are not open to the public. But usually the ones the community colleges are. But that's the only one that comes to mind right now would be the Metro. Oh, and Youth Expo. Youth Expo is coming up, and I believe that's going to be at the LA Convention Center. So and that's not just, high school students. This is all young people. So I would encourage everyone to also consider attending Youth Expo because it's not just going to be about employment, training, continued education. So come to the Youth Expo. I don't recall the date offhand right now, but what we could do is add it on to the slide deck so that everyone who attended today will get a copy of this and we'll include those upcoming events that are going to focus on either workforce education and training.
Awesome. I see. Thank you, Frida, for answering some of these questions. Um, are these opportunities, do you need advanced programming or data analysis skills?
Nick, you want to answer that? I mean,
I was
based on,
gonna.
on your needs, web coordination.
Yeah, I I don't think that in anything specific in regards to programming or data analysis is needed for any of our internships. Most of the programs that we use, we're not expecting that you're experts at coming in, and I know some of them are definitely vary from general contractor to general contractor. Um, so I think as an intern starting will be kind of guiding you through those. So um, I guess it's a plus if you've used or have some experience, but it's not a requirement of any sort.
Awesome. Very good questions, everyone. I'm sure that more than one question may pop up after this presentation is over, but Veronica has so graciously shared contact information with everyone here. I see Esther, you also included your number. So please take advantage of this direct access and communication with anyone here on this call today. If you have any questions, you can also feel free to reach out to me. I will put my email in the chat, but I believe you received one regarding today's session. Furthermore, Lark will continuously have opportunities like this to share with students that are in the community college space that align to multiple career fields and industry sectors. So just keep an eye out on the Lark website. Um, if there is no further questions, I'm just trying to give a chance to everyone to ask. Um, No,
And
I
I
think
know questions were coming in fast in the chat and back to
they
back.
were.
So if I miss any that were specifically for me, like we mentioned, feel free to reach out to me, email. And if I don't have the answer, I can point you in the direction of who with WebCore has the answer for you or any more information.
Thank you. Yeah, they were coming in very fast. I've included my email in the chat as well, so feel free to email me if you have any further questions. But I know this was until 1 o'clock, and we're a little bit over. So I just want to say again, thank you to everyone. Um, And thank you to everyone who has registered, joined today. Hope that you learned something has sparked your interest into applying to any one of these opportunities. And Veronica, Esther, Frida, Nicholas, you have any other closeouts that you want to
No,
say
just thank
before we
you.
wrap it up?
Just thank you to everyone for taking time to learn about the airport's opportunities and our industry's need to cultivate a workforce to do the work that they're doing, very important work that they're doing. So just thank you to everybody. And thank you, Bridget, for, extending this invitation to the airport to be a part of this. This is important.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for being here. Other than that, everyone have a good weekend.